time for another update. I'll break this log into 3 parts. First, I'll cover what I've completed since last time. Second, I'll go over what I'm planning on working on next time in a more general sense. This being more for those interested in the gameplay perspective. And then third, I'll go over the goals concerning programming and the design process. So, I have basic procedural level generation working. If you want to do something similar to this, I suggest a good starting point is a Heartbeast video that I'll link in the description. This video specifically helped me get started on this, because going in, I had no idea what I was doing. This was all new to me. But now I'm stoked on what I have. So the way that I'm going about procedural gen is I'll start with a tile set, basic tile set of just black and white tiles. Black will represent non-walkable area, and then white represents walkable areas. I place a walker in the middle of a field of black tiles, and then make the walker walk an arbitrary amount of steps. Wherever the walker goes, the tiles go from black to white. The walker follows a set of rules to yield different results, and I plan on adjusting those rules depending on which biome the player is, because it'll give different random generation results. After the walker walks an adjustable number of steps, or the walker chews through a number of black tiles and turns them into white walkable tiles, then I loop through each tile with a window. I think it's about an 8x10 tile window, and if that window at any point has something like more than 60 tiles in it that are walkable, I reset the tile set to all black tiles and run the walker again until such an area doesn't exist on the entire map. I do this to avoid generating areas that are too sparse and have too much walkable area on screen and no walls. If the algorithm commonly takes more than 7 or 8 tries to generate a viable set, then I'll usually tweak the algorithm a bit. I added a max number of times it'll iterate, just in case there's some crazy outlier chance where the algorithm keeps generating unsuitable attempts, just so it'll automatically proceed. And right now it proceeds after 50 times. After generating a viable walkable area, I loop over everything again, this time to place various environment tiles, such as the floor tiles, the wall tiles, ceiling tiles, shadows, floor color variants, canopy tiles, and then at some point in the future I'll use this similar method with certain algorithms and whatever to place world objects. I haven't done that yet. Very similar to how I'm doing this. The ceiling tiles and wall tiles have collision info, and the floor tiles will have nav 2D info when I start working on the AI. The canopy tiles were the hardest to figure out in terms of how to place the correct one in the correct area, but I managed to get it to work. From here, making different areas shouldn't be too hard programmatically and will hinge more on art output and algorithmic adjustments. Moving on, regarding general ideas and goals for gameplay, the gameplay feel I'm going for is more towards Nuclear Throne, as you can see, obviously, but the way I want to handle the progression of difficulty and level completion will be more like Risk of Rain, with enemies constantly spawning until a level objective is completed, and then with the difficulty increasing gradually and continuously across the levels. I've been thinking about having a boss at the end of each level, so this is another way it will be similar to Risk of Rain, and in this way making the game somewhat of a boss rush style game. The way I spawn enemies will also be similar to Risk of Rain, but I want to see if I can do something with a game director style thing, with like an overarching game AI, kind of like in Left 4 Dead, where there's ebbs and flows of difficulty or occasional surges in enemies. One other thing I also want to do is to always start the player in a new level, safely spawned a certain distance from the nearest opening enemies, just to avoid cheesier RNG situations that I've occasionally found frustrating in other roguelites. Okay, moving on again. Regarding programming specific ideas and goals, the next thing on my list to get working on is to make a separate weapon system and class. Since right now the code for the gun is kind of game jammy and it's mostly part of the character controller script. So I need to fix that, totally change that up. After this, I'll implement new guns, then I'll start working on some basic spawning for enemies and better AI. So that's about it for this one. Thanks for the patience between the uploads, and I appreciate the comments and general interest in the game. See you all next time. Ciao.
Dylan, get up here.
I've stopped. I don't make the game anymore. And that's it's over.
She's sleeping with her brother. She's sleeping with her brother. She's sleeping with her brother. It's Jenny. Oh, Jenny. She's sleeping with her brother. Ain't got no teeth. Ain't got no teeth. Ain't got no teeth. It's Cyrus.